welcome to the SVG-TV news for Friday, December 20th. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. A number of workers at the RBTT Bank reportedly did not show up to work today, forcing the closure of the bank to the public. The workers are reportedly engaged in industrial action for overtime payments and a change in working hours. When our news team visited the bank at Heritage Square in the mid-morning hours, the main door was locked. Several customers were seen looking through the glass windows of the bank, while others were conducting transactions through the ATM. One frustrated businessman explained to our news team that he came to the bank to get money to pay his workers, only to be told to come back on Monday. The irate customers said what took place today is bad for business, while others complained that they should have at least been notified about the closure.
Right now I can't even self-talk, honestly speaking.
But what they said though?
They didn't say anything. What's going on here? Because I come to collect my salary. My salary go to the bank here.
Yeah, and I come to...
And normally I come to collect it and I see nobody here walking, so I don't know what's going on. I can't tell.
And how long you with the bank?
This is what, 15 years now.
But generally, what's the service like?
Them service? Well, I can't tell because one time they told me they're going to close down and one time we see they're open and whatever, so I don't know what's going on with them. But what I trying to say, they should have notified people, right? Because they know if people will be coming by the bank to the salary and whatever, so they should notify people.
While on the outside of the bank, a staff member was seen placing a notice on the door that said the bank was closed due to unforeseen circumstances and apologized for any inconvenience caused, and that they were working hard to ensure the reopening of the bank as soon as possible. Efforts were made to contact Joseph Burns Bonady, General Secretary of the Commercial, Technical and Allied Workers Union, who represents the workers at the bank, but we were unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the bank's parent company, RBC Royal Bank, issued a news release expressing disappointment with the industrial action taken by the bank's workers, which it claimed was supported by their union representative. Royal Bank stated that formal and informal discussions on the issues in question were well underway, and talks, in their view, were progressing cordially. The bank further noted its disappointment that the industrial action was taken on the last Friday before Christmas, when a lot of customers usually seek to access banking services. Noting that clients' anger and frustration are understandable, the bank says it is regrettable that today's action disrupted the normal operation in SVG. Productivity testing and well stimulation are some of the works which Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said are expected to be done in the coming year at the Geothermal project. The Prime Minister was at the time providing an update in Parliament on Thursday on work being done so far and what is to come. He noted that so far, 3 wells were dug and given the names SVG-01, SVG-02 and SVG-03. He said the drilling was done to find out the availability of 2 resources, heat and permeability, which are necessary for the production of geothermal energy. The first well, SVG-01, according to the Prime Minister, presented problems relating to soil stability, causing delays on the project. He said subsequently, a second well, SVG-03, was successfully dug, and despite some challenges, it produced sufficient heat, but no permeability. The PM said, as it now stands, well stimulation has to be done, and he explained the process.
On this second well, at 2,800 meters, it's 216 degrees Celsius. Later measurements indicate a heat between 215 and 220 degrees Celsius. Very little or no permeability was seen. So the technical team decided to do something called well stimulation. You stimulate the well to get the permeability. This method of stimulation involved the pumping of water at high pressure with the intent to open sealed fractures in the soil. After 2 days of well stimulation, the well opened and absorbed water at an average rate of 65 liters per second. Such indications are considered positive, and stimulation will continue for several weeks. The productivity of this well would be measured in March, April 2020.
Highlighting the work done on the third well, SVG-02, PM Gonzalez said the experts used the lessons learned from the first two wells, and the reports they have been receiving are promising.
Decided by the technical team that the gradient angle should be altered to minimize collapse. Additionally, vertical depth was increased to gain a higher temperature. Deeper drilling would achieve a target temperature of 240 degrees Celsius. It is expected that if no permeability is achieved, that a process of stimulation would be required. As of today, the rig has drilled to 2,769 meters and is 10 days ahead of schedule. We are fortunate with this one because the redesign put it at an angle. They're now more familiar with the geology, the terrain, everything. This well should be completed by December the 23rd. This well, according to the advice, the written advice I have here, shows very good promise and already displays high temperature properties.
PM Gonzalez also noted that work has to be done on well SVG-01 to determine permeability as well as productivity testing in all three wells.
March to April next year, there's going to be productivity testing of the second and third wells. What the productivity testing is going to do is to tell you basically how big this geothermal plant should be. We have a target as to what it should be. It will tell you how much geothermal energy we're going to get out of the wells which we have dug. And naturally, when you get that, as we had always intended, which I had outlined very much, when all the tests are, when all the drilling is done, all the tests are done, we go back and work the numbers again to see at what level we have the optimal economic viability. And that final decision will take place in June, July. Mr. Speaker.
Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday said he is guarded but hopeful that the geothermal project will have its intended results and bring benefits to the people of SVG. Dr. Friday made his comments in Parliament after the Prime Minister made his presentation detailing the technical issues faced on the project and what is expected in 2020. The opposition leader said while he is grateful for the Prime Minister's explanation, the average Vincentian is more interested about the end result, which is cheaper and cleaner energy, and that for the benefit of the nation, he wished the project succeeded.
Mr. Speaker, we've been on record of saying that one of the major obstacles to development in our country is the cost of energy. Importing fuel from abroad where prices fluctuate. There is growing concern about the use of fossil fuels, and of course purchasing it abroad uses precious foreign exchange that could be used to buy medicine and other important things. So I'm guarded but hopeful that the expectation for the geothermal project will be realized, because that would be a benefit for the whole country.
Dr. Friday said it is important that the government provide the public with regular updates on the project using all means available.
And I do believe, Mr. Speaker, that it is the obligation, the duty of the government and those people who are involved and know what is going on to keep not just the members of the opposition up to date and informed. Don't wait for us to ask a question in the Parliament to find out what's happening, but to bring the information to this Honorable House or by other means to make it available so that we are the opposition, we know what's happening, and that the people in the country are kept informed.
Invest SVG and the Chamber of Industry and Commerce will be hosting a business forum next month, which will target local businesses. So says Executive Director of Invest SVG, Annette Mark, who is also the Vice President of the SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Mark noted that this was initiated following a successful visit to Dubai and the United Kingdom a few months ago.
The Honorable Patron Lord Howard of Lymph, did I say that properly? Yes, in January, who will be here. He, along with Miss Wade. Lord Howard is actually, well, he was a leader of the Conservative, was the leader of the Conservative Party and leader of the opposition in 2003 to 2005, and he previously held cabinet positions under the Margaret Thatcher and John Major government, which include Secretary of State for Employment, Secretary of State for the Environment, and the Home Secretary.
Local businesses are encouraged to participate in the forum, which, according to Mark, will have far-reaching benefits.
Be a luncheon where he will be our guest speaker, where they will address certain things as Brexit, the effects of Brexit to the United Kingdom, to the Caribbean, and also the setting up a satellite, the benefits of setting up a satellite office in St. Vincent under the patronage of Invest SVG, so that the office can work along with the Chamber of Commerce here also.
This weekend, judging for the different competitions in the National Nine Mornings Festival will commence. Judging will be done for the best lit community starting on the leeward side of the island this evening. Tomorrow will be for the communities on the windward side, which will be followed by the Kingstown area on Sunday. Judging for private houses and properties, all properties participating in the lighting competition is expected to take place early next week. Chairman of the Nine Mornings Festival Committee, Orande Bomani Charles, said that communities have responded well to this year's festival, including those on the Grenadine Islands of Bequia, Canawan, and Union Island. As for the feedback from the various Nine Mornings activities, Charles said this aspect of the festival has improved tremendously, with a number of communities hosting Nine Mornings activities. Charles said earlier today he was in Barley for the Nine Mornings activities, and he was satisfied with the turnout of the residents there and in other communities nationwide.
I know it's been working really hard to put things together that I would be back, and here I am. And I'm happy to see so many of you coming out this morning to enjoy Nine Mornings, and the lights are looking lovely. The great thing about this morning is I look around and I see the future. So many children out here tonight, so I know the festival is in good hands. Continue to participate, continue to support, come out every morning, every evening, support your community, support your committee.
Two visitors who were also in Barley for the Nine Mornings activities told our news team that they specifically came to SVG to enjoy the Christmas celebration, which they say is far unique and different from what they have seen in other countries.
It was good. Partying, drinking, people enjoying themselves. It was good. First time I went in town with my mum and my cousins in 1995. In England it's different. We don't do Nine Mornings. You just go out on the Christmas Eve. But we don't have celebrations like you have in the Caribbean.
It's always a nostalgic feeling for me to come back at this time of the year and experience the traditions. No, it's not promoted as it should be. So maybe one of the things we have to work on is the marketing strategy and get people to visit during this time of the year.
Here now is a snippet of some of what took place in Barley for Nine Mornings.
Bell, jingle away. Oh, my father's restaurants are hoping for the same. Oh, jingle bell, jingle away. Jingle bell, jingle all away. Oh, my son, slow, I know the passing. Oh, jingle bell, all the way.
Talkie sweet, he's speaking a bilgal teeth. The culture couple help him out, he's speaking a bilgal teeth. Eat until Christmas come. Talkie going down, we barely know. We eat and eat. You'll get so much fun till it's sticking out with it.
The 9 Mornings at Heritage Square continues to attract a large crowd, and this morning there was a special segment for visitors and returning nationals who were given the opportunity to participate in the onstage activities.
Oh, jingle bell, jingle all the way. All the fun listeners riding a humping open sleigh. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun is to and everyone has to rest there.
Problems I have with Christmas. I know you'll be wondering what sort of problems could be troubling me, especially at Christmas when everybody is so jolly.
Distance, wondering what it could be. Then suddenly an angel said, a king is born. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men from heaven's all glorious King. The world's in solemn stillness lay. Come on, man. Come on, man.